Talk Nation, welcome back everybody. It's Real Talk Live Sports and I'm your host, Philly, Philly. Matter of fact, shout out to the city. The middleweight division is heating up. The welterweight division is on fire, but the middleweight division, it's been hot just because of Canelo. But you got some good fights, and let's talk about the November 13th fight going down between none other than David Benavidez and Jose Uzcategui. Check this out, fight fans, because this fight has big things behind it. Possibly the winner of this fight can go on to fight Canelo, and that's going to be super explosive, especially if it's David Benavidez. Let's get into the tail of the tape. David Benavidez is 24-0 with 21 knockouts. Benavidez, his hand speed, in my opinion, is the fastest in the division. He not only has great hand speed, but his punch placement is great. He has good power with 21 knockouts. David Benavidez is a problem. A lot of people hold Benavidez as possibly the only person that can defeat Canelo Alvarez. Also, he's 6'2", nice height, about my height, 74-inch reach. At the same time, he's 24 years of age. Benavidez is young, still got some time in the game. He's going to do some real big things in the middleweight division. He's from Phoenix, Arizona, and his last 5 fights is he fought Ronald Ellis. A lot of people thought that Ronald Ellis was going to give him problems, but no, he wound up taking care of Ronald Ellis by TKO victory. Romer Angulo stopped him, couldn't come back out. Anthony Durrell, that was a win, naturally, knockout. Jalen Love, also a win, knockout. Ronald Gavril, win, unanimous decision. Now, David Benavidez is a 2-time former world champion. Now, he hasn't lost. Benavidez, he lost his belts on the scale. Now, he was young, immature, you know what I mean? But Benavidez is laser focused these days, you know what I mean? Because he realized the mistakes that he made in the past, especially, like I said, because he was young, immaturity. It's okay. We move on. We grow. We get better. We get sharper. We get stronger, which he did. Let's move on. Now, the speed and power of Benavidez is not only going to be a problem, but I think that's going to be the deciding factor, because Benavidez is also a great boxer. And when you mix these attributes, he's going to give Uzcategui a very tough time. Let's get into it. Uzcategui, he's also a former world champion, record 31-4-0 with 26 knockouts. Now, he does have some power, does have some pop, and also he's a good boxer. And if he comes into this fight on his A game, which he said that he was, he can give Benavidez, some problems. Ultimately, he can make it a good fight if Benavidez can adapt and adjust. These guys are just going to bang it out, and it's going to become an all-out war. Now, his last 5 fights, he got a couple of blemishes. He fought Jaime Hernandez. That was a win. That was a knockout, of course. Josu Obando, that was a win, TKO. But he lost to Lionel Thompson by unanimous decision. He knocked out Roberto Valdez. We all know he lost to Caleb Plant by unanimous decision. That's how he lost his title. Now, he's 30 years of age. He's an orthodox fighter. He also stands at 6'2", same height, but his reach is 2 inches longer than Benavidez, so that jab is going to be very important for Jose. Now, he hails from Mexico. Shout out to all the Mexicanos, man. Now, this is going to be a great fight, man, because Uzcategui, like I said, he's a good boxer, but he lost to Caleb Plant. Caleb Plant also a good boxer, very defensively sound. He's a good mover. But David Benavidez, we all know he holds no love for Caleb Plant at all. He wants Canelo to go in there and put Caleb Plant to sleep. Will it happen? We shall see. But Benavidez coming into this fight, if he is able to utilize all the skills that God has gifted him with in this fight with Jose Uzcategui, this is going to be a very, very good fight. Benavidez's punch selection is pinpoint accurate, and all of his shots, especially once he started getting the hook game popping, has significant power behind it. He has a great jab, and his combination punching for a middleweight, I mean, really besides Canelo, in my opinion, he's the best combination puncher in the division. That's what makes him and Canelo fighting each other so super explosive. They both have fantastic attributes. They both are great fighters and boxers and tacticians in the ring. So that is going to make that fight super explosive. I hope that fight does come to fruition, but before that fight happens, he has to get past Uzcategui. Now, you know, when these guys do the press conference, they say, oh yeah, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm bringing this to the table. Yeah, this guy can't do that better than me. But at the end of the day, in the Wilder and Fury fight, shout out to Wilder and Fury, is a prime example of this. What you see in the gym, when you see cameras rolling, when guys is training, they working on different things, they're hitting the pads, they're hitting the bag, they look super explosive, everything looks crispy, accurate, and precise. But once you step under them lights, things change. Now, what I will give Benavidez and Uzcategui for that matter, when they step under the lights, they do perform well. But between the two, Benavidez, in my opinion, he puts on not only a better show, but his record speaks for itself. He's undefeated. Now, when these guys get into the ring, I believe they're probably going to start out boxing. It's going to be a tactician, you know what I mean? Just kind of fill each other out. But I do believe Benavidez probably is going to put his foot on the gas a little bit early than Uzcategui thinks that he is. I think Benavidez, is going to fill him out maybe the first or second round. But after that, Benavidez is going to put his foot on the gas because he set out his own mouth. If he can't stop him, if he can't knock him out, it must be a decisive victory. And in order for him to pull this off, he has to get started early. He can't allow the fight to go 3, 4, 5 rounds before he really start laying some heat on Uzcategui and trying to pull away or try to catch him with a certain shot to hurt him and possibly stop him and finish him. No. He's going to have to think fast, think sharp, and he's going to have to put his implement his game plan early. And if he can't, like I said, he's going to have to be careful but skillful. And that's when that speed and that power and that movement is going to come into play. Because if Uzcategui comes into this fight with the mindset of being on the defense, counterpunching, it's going to be a tough fight for Benavidez. But if he comes into this fight with the same mindset, you know what, if I can't get my offense off, I'm going to come right at him. You know what I mean? I'm going to come right at him. Naturally, he's going to have to protect himself, but he's going to have to make this fight a war. And Benavidez said himself, like I told you before, he's ready for that to happen. Now, will it happen? Who knows? But I do believe this is going to be a tough fight. This is a great matchup for Benavidez. And if he wins this fight, the ramifications of him winning this fight is possibly he can go on to fight Canelo. And that is going to be the biggest fight in middleweight, I ain't gonna say history, maybe go that far. But it's going to be a huge fight. That fight, no doubt, probably will happen in 2022. Probably the first quarter of 2022 is going to be a super explosive fight if it happens. Let me tell y'all something, man. I'm telling y'all this now. That fight is going to be electric. Benavidez possibly can be the one to not only defeat Canelo Alvarez, but hurt Canelo Alvarez. Because we all know, if you cannot hurt Canelo Alvarez, if you cannot make him respect your power, he's going to walk right through you. He's going to systematically break you down and eventually get you up out of there in the mid to the later rounds. Easy. That is Canelo's recipe. And guess what? Once he put that bad boy in the oven, it comes out perfect every time. And whoever he's fighting, they wind up getting cooked. You know what I'm saying? Well done. But don't get it twisted, man, because Canelo, he can go in there and he can hurt Benavidez, just like Benavidez has the ability to hurt Canelo. So that fight, for many reasons, is going to be super explosive, legendary, history making, and everything above if it happens. But before that fight happens, these two guys have to get into the ring and prove who is the best. But Benavidez, like I said, man, former two-time champion, but Uzcategui also a former champion. So both of these guys have fought at the highest level. Both of these guys know what not only victory feels like, but what it feels like to be a champion. And I truly believe for Benavidez, he wants to get back in that circle. Because truth of the matter, Benavidez, he deserves to be. He's very talented. And the fact that he's 24 years of age, he needs to start cementing and cementing his legacy in a brighter light right now. Because being a two-time former champion and losing his belt on the scales, you know what I mean? Like, that shows a lack of discipline. So coming into this fight, although he is undefeated, I truly want to see where his mental state is. And we can only see that once these guys step into the ring and we see how they perform. But if they perform well, like I said, man, you already have it in the back of your mind, even though you shouldn't, but they should, because they should be focused on 125% on this fight and on each other, facing each other in the ring. But they know they could possibly fight Canelo. And besides that, most likely being the biggest payday of their career, that is the biggest and most dangerous fight of their career. Now, when Uzcategui fought Plant, you know what I mean? Although it was a unanimous decision, you know what I mean? He still put on a good show, but Plant was the better boxer, was the better fighter, was the better man. He won. He got the belt. So I believe Uzcategui, and although he had a couple of blemishes on his record, you know what I mean, since that fight, he won his last fight. So he's not coming off of a loss, so his confidence still should be pretty high. But at the same time, coming into this fight, you know you fighting Caleb Plant. Not Caleb Plant. David Benavidez. So you know Benavidez, he's not Caleb Plant at all. He knows that he doesn't like Caleb Plant. You know what I mean? So that vitriol that he has for Caleb Plant, guess what, man? He's going to punish Uzcategui. Because why? That is possibly going to get him to Canelo, and possibly a future face-off with Caleb Plant. Because win or lose, Caleb Plant ain't going nowhere. He's still going to remain in the division, and his stature in the division is still going to be relatively high. He's still going to be in the top 5, easy, maybe top 3. So if he beats Jose Uzcategui and goes on to fight Canelo, now let's just be hypothetical for a second. Just say if he beats Canelo. You know what I mean? I truly believe that he's really going to try to set up a fight with Caleb Plant next. So Caleb Plant, win or lose, his next couple of fights are going to be big fights, period. And whether people see it or not, watch what happens. I'm trying to tell y'all, you know what I mean? Because the business of boxing is no longer about putting the best fight there, because you got to go through a whole bunch of cherries before you get, you know what I mean, to those real gem of the fights. But that's going to be a great fight, great paydays for both fighters, you know what I mean? So that fight, eventually it will happen. So coming into this fight, man, David Benavidez, I believe he's going to put on a great performance. But I do believe also that Jose Uzcategui, man, is going to come to the table, because he knows that Benavidez is dangerous, man. This dude is dangerous between his speed, his power, you know what I mean? He's a great finisher. He's coming into this fight, and he has to make sure that he has all those boxes checked, because if he doesn't, he's going to be the one checking out by knockout. David Benavidez, Jose Uzcategui, November 13th. This fight is going down. Talk Nation, stand up as your boy. Come back, holla at me. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Matter of fact, share these videos, man. You know what I'm saying? The channel is trying to get to that 1,000. Holla at us, man. Peace. Talk Nation, stand up as your boy.